Welcome back to our Hailstorm implementation series. I'm Noah Hebert with Dent Ops, and in this video we're going to talk about customer strategy overview for hail damage. Specifically, we're going to talk about repairs, cash outs, and total losses, and I'm going to help give you a playbook as to how you can actually guide every type of customer who walks through your front door who has hail damage to their ideal outcome that's actually profitable for you. Okay? Most shops just do repairs, but we're also going to go over cash outs and total losses in this video too, so stay tuned. The first thing I want to talk about is the psychology of hail customers, because this is really, really important to keep in mind as you go through this process. It's not your typical Tuesday for your customer when it hails. They don't really know what to do, and they're probably stressed out after the event. It can be fairly traumatic for customers, and they're looking for clarity and reassurance through this process, and just to know that they're in good hands and that there is, in fact, a process for them to follow, because they just don't know what to do right now. Your role throughout this whole situation is to guide the customer to their best outcome, but you're more than just a repair shop. You're also able to help them through the claims process. You're able to help them if their vehicle's totaling. You're able to help them even if they don't really want to fix the car, which is a cash out. And this is really, really important for you because this early qualification is going to help with both your profitability and your customer satisfaction. So let's talk about what that looks like a little bit more in depth. There are three main customer outcomes that we like to categorize customers into as we're helping guide them through the hail damage process. The first one, which is what most repair shops are familiar with, is repairs, which is just going to be when you fix the car and you get paid to fix the car, right? Most of the time these are insurance claims, almost all the time with hail damage. Sometimes customers pay out of pocket, but we generally know what it looks like when you get a car in, you do the estimate, you fix the car, you get paid for the repairs. The second scenario that is more and more common, it seems like, is going to be cash outs, which is when the customer actually decides that they don't want to get the car fixed, but they're still entitled to the payout from the claim. A lot of times you might write an estimate and the customer decides, I don't actually want to get my car fixed. And now you're out the time and the energy and the resources that you spent in helping them to process the claim, write the estimate, do administration, whatever else it is that you've done on that claim. But you can still generate revenue through the admin work that you do. And we're going to walk through a little bit about what that looks like. And then the last scenario, the third scenario that we see also more and more often these days is total losses, which is when the car is deemed a total loss by the insurance company. But again, not all is lost. You can still generate revenue through your administration, storage fees, and a bunch of other potential fees that you may not even know about. So throughout this process, you're going to be qualifying your customers and you're going to be guiding them through the process. And this requires clear communication from the very, very beginning as soon as the customer walks in your front door. And just to I guess, put this out there, customers can sometimes be kind of shy or hesitant to tell you what they really want, especially if they're planning on cashing out. You may have experienced this before where a customer walks in and they kind of act like they're going to get their car fixed, they're getting an estimate, but like you can maybe tell something's kind of off. And what's probably happening is they actually don't want to get their car fixed. They're just looking for the claim payout and they don't really care about having the damage on their car. You can educate them on all of their options. And from our experience in working with a lot of shops, almost every time, as soon as you let the customer know that that's a valid option, if you don't want to get your car fixed and you're just looking to get the final payout, that's possible, and you can help them to achieve that. That's how you can actually capture that person as a customer. You can help walk them through the steps that they are already going to have to go through, whether it's themselves, you, or another repair facility. Someone's going to help this customer, and you can help them to optimize their ideal outcome, and you can get paid to do that. But your guidance is going to build trust, and it's going to help you to capture more business beyond just your typical repairs and expand and probably even add additional revenue generating opportunities. You really want to maximize every area that you can in a hail repair operation. So we have an overview that we've put together, a step-by-step plan that we help shops to implement. So the first step we always recommend shops take is when a new customer walks through their front door or you're talking to them on the phone, however they come in, you just check, have they filed a claim yet? If they have filed a claim, fantastic, that's great. you can say, yes, follow that path. But what happens a lot of times is a customer hasn't filed a claim yet because they're not actually sure if they should file a claim. A lot of people have never filed a claim before, and they kind of wear that as a badge of honor. That's a whole nother conversation. But the first step is figuring out, has the customer actually filed a claim yet? If they have not filed a claim yet, what the customer's probably trying to do is figure out, does it make sense to file a claim, or what are the next logical steps that I should take? And if you're having that conversation with them, they're just trying to work through what that looks like. We recommend you do a quick evaluation, which is not a full estimate. It's really just a ballpark estimate that might say, yeah, you have between $3,000 and $4,000 or between $7,000 and $9,000 worth of damage on this car. What that does is it gives them the information that they need in order to make an informed decision. And so what that might be is, hey, you have $7,000 to $9,000 worth of damage on your car. They'll say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. And then you say, it probably makes sense to file a claim. If you file a claim, the maximum that you're going to pay is just your deductible amount. You're not the one who necessarily pays $7,000 to $9,000. It'd be your insurance company. And you can guide them through that process. And so they say, okay, that makes sense. If you can get them to file an insurance claim, that's really when it makes more sense for you to step in beyond a quick evaluation. And in that case, you should explain to them their options. Okay, well, what is it that you're looking for? Do you want to get your car fixed? Do you care about the damage that's on your car? A lot of people are going to say, yes, I do care that there's damage on my car and I do want to get it fixed. But you can also explain, look, you don't have to get your car fixed if you don't want to. You're entitled to the money from the insurance claim if you file a claim. The damage is on your car, you've incurred a loss, and you're entitled to the proceeds from that claim. Okay? And then the third option is the total loss. It might appear as though it's going to be obviously totaled. You know, if it's an older vehicle, it's got a lot of damage, or even a newer vehicle sometimes with a lot of damage, it's possible it could be total. And explaining that and educating your customer on that front is very, very valuable to do that up front. And so once you explain to them and they kind of understand their options, you can start to get to the bottom of what is their ideal outcome, right? And this should start to get pretty obvious pretty quickly. Once they know, like I mentioned, that cashing out is an option, they should be a lot more open to you about it. Versus if you make it seem like you only fix cars, they're probably still going to be kind of standoffish. But when they know it's an option, they might be way more open to discuss that with you. We've seen that very, very often with the repair facilities that we work with. No matter what, any path is okay. You want to help them get to their end goal. But in order to continue, you need to get them to sign a repair agreement or an authorization agreement. We have a template that we provide. It's in a previous video on this series, so check that out. But our opinion is that an authorization agreement, if a customer signs it, it's a psychological commitment that they're going to let you do your job, right? You're locking down this customer. They're not just going to walk away. And it's also binding in the sense that the customer is agreeing if you continue to perform more work than what you've already done, more than this quick evaluation that you might have done, that you're entitled to receiving compensation for that, which is more than reasonable. You know, professional repair shops, auto bodies do this all the time. Other professional organizations or you know, doctors' offices or wherever, you sign things when you go and you're committing to get work done. That's just the way that it goes. And it is transactional. You're saying, I can help you to achieve this. All I need from you in return is to sign this document so that we can cross our T's, dot our I's, and continue to move forward and get that commitment from the customer. If they don't want to sign that authorization, we just recommend you stick with the quick evaluation. It doesn't waste your time. You can do it in 5 minutes. It gives the customer what they need. It's something tangible they can actually take away. They can print off these quick evaluations and take it with them, give it to their insurance company. We've seen that happen as well. It's got your company's letterhead on it, and you've got the customer's information as well in order to try to follow back up on them. Maybe later on, you could check in with them in a couple of weeks. They probably haven't figured something out at that point, and ask them, hey, have you figured out what you want to do yet? If you want, we can help you with your repair or your cash out or your total loss or whatever it is, and get them to come back in your front door, right? More lead generation. Now, let's assume that they did sign the authorization agreement. Fantastic. That is the commitment that you need in order to continue to move forward on this claim and help this customer. That's when you would actually write a full estimate. That's when you would help them to start to process the claim. And then from there, you've got one of, again, 3 primary paths that this claim is going to go through. Either you're going to repair it and you're going to get paid. The customer might cash out, which we also call cancellation. If the customer cancels, if you use the right repair agreement like the one that we provide, it's completely free, then it specifies terms for cancellation or when the customer decides to cash out. If you're not going to fix the car, well, we did X, Y, and Z work on this, therefore we're going to charge you this fee as is outlined in our repair agreement that you signed. Okay, and then the last scenario is the total loss report when the car totals out, and that gives you, again, the final path and profitable path, the ability to receive compensation from the insurance company for the work that you performed, administration, estimating, photos, so on and so forth, storage, if you were keeping the car on site, inside storage, outside storage, whatever that is, you can actually charge the insurance company for that in order to get compensated for the work that you put into it. So no matter what on any of these scenarios, the goal is to help the customer to get to their ideal outcome and to also do it profitably, for you to generate money, for you to not waste time doing activities that don't generate your business money, and to make the absolute most of your hailstorm. What you don't want is if repairs, if 70% of the customers get their car fixed, cool, you might be perfectly happy with that. But for me personally, if I can capture that other 30% of the customers, that's very likely tens of thousands of dollars that my operation could be earning throughout this hailstorm as well. And we've seen shops earn a lot from both cash outs and total losses. So it's definitely valuable to add to your repertoire, and it's not difficult. It's not difficult, especially with the tools that we provide. So let's then talk about what those tools are. Just a quick recap. You got quick evaluations, which help you to generate ballpark estimates very rapidly, and also for you to capture customer information to, like I mentioned, try to reach out to those customers if they leave and you weren't able to get that repair authorization commitment from them. We also have the cash out invoice, which is, again, it's to get compensated for any work performed if a customer decides to cash out or cancel the repairs. If they leave without you fixing the car, you have the ability to invoice them for that, basically, and they've agreed to pay for those invoice fees, the cash out fees or the cancellation fees. Your repair agreement, which helps you to get that customer commitment before you spend a bunch of time and energy, and then the total loss report, which is just a professional way to notify insurers that, yes, we've been notified that this car is a total loss, and invoice the insurance companies for the administration efforts, the storage fees, and a bunch more other things. You can access most of these tools, if not all of these tools, at dentops.com under the free resources tab and or through the Dent Ops app if you have access, if you have a free Dent Ops account. Quick evaluations especially, that's where you'd want to access through our estimator tool. So let's just give a quick recap, maybe a practical example of what this looks like. And this is really as simple as it is once you start implementing it into your business, that whole diagram. It's really not that complicated. First thing, when a customer comes in, the only thing you should commit to is a quick evaluation. Okay, they come with moderate hail damage. Maybe you do a quick evaluation that helps them decide if it makes sense or that it makes sense for them to file a claim on this vehicle. The next thing that you need from the customer is for them to sign a repair agreement. And this is just authorizing you to basically move forward with helping to progress the claim forward with the knowledge that the customer can cancel repairs if they want to, if they need to at any point. But obviously you need to get compensated for what you've done up to that point. And then the third piece of this whole puzzle is the path that you follow from that point forward. No matter what path, you can profit from the path and you can help customers get to their ideal outcome, whether it's a repair, a total loss, or a cash out. So, next steps. First off, commit to qualifying your customers. It's going to save you a ton of time. It's going to help you to cut down on tire kickers, and it's just going to help you to be overall more profitable. Implement our free tools. They're free. The only one I think that requires even a sign up is the quick evaluations, but we even have a free no sign up version of the quick evaluations too. We literally just built them to help shops. The shops that we go in and help in person, and also just any shops in the industry. We're committed to helping shops be the best repair operations. So start using our free tools. That's why we made them. And then just continue learning. Follow the Hailstorm Implementation series. This video is a part of that series. Keep on honing your operation and master each path. And with that, we will see you in the next video.